Greetings fellow Whovians, welcome to Timey Wimey Review and Happy New Year everybody! I hope you've had a good one and I hope that 2023 is going to be a great year. Well, it's got to be, hasn't it? Because it is Doctor Who's 60th anniversary year. Lots of content, lots of videos to come up on this channel and a lot of great things to look forward to in 2023 with those specials as we enter a new era of Doctor Who. But I wanted to start this year with the first of the Dalek trilogy New Year's Day specials with the 13th Doctor episode Resolution, originally broadcast on BBC One on New Year's Day 2019. Just in case you don't know the plot, the Doctor receives an alert in the TARDIS coming from Earth, or Sheffield to be precise. The Doctor has every right to be fearful, as the alert signifies that her greatest enemy, a Dalek presumed dead for hundreds of years, is on Earth, as it is trying to summon a Dalek invasion fleet. This episode is coming back off the first season of the Chris Chibnall, Jodie Whittaker era from series 11. And you can tell that mainly, I would say, Chris Chibnall is still finding his feet in terms of being the head writer and just writing for Doctor Who full time. This episode, again, was written by Chris Chibnall. And I felt like the style of his writing is what you kind of see for the rest of his tenure with the big epic sounding locations. And I felt this might have been the start of it. I could be wrong. Let me know in the comments below. But it made me laugh that obviously we had, as part of this story, that the Dalek, original alien Dalek, was cut up into 3 parts and scattered across Earth, as it had been here before and been defeated by the humans of Earth, obviously. And it just made me laugh that sort of like, you know, we had the communications headquarters, and then we had Serbia, and then Sheffield. I just found it quite amusing, obviously with parts of where this Dalek was buried. And for some episodes, this works really well. Prime example, Power of the Dalek, with all those different locations, and to a certain extent, Doctor Who Flux. Other times, it just makes the story sound a bit more convoluted than it should be. And I think this one for Resolution, I think that did happen. It just kind of, how we kind of got to the more sort of action part of the episode, and when the story really sort of took off a bit more was in the second half. So it kind of took, you know, it just kind of drudged through a bit of the convoluted Chibnall mud, I'm sorry to say, to really get this story on a roll. The other subplot to this episode is the return of Ryan's father, Aaron, back into Ryan's life. So we kind of got that sort of family dynamic being intertwined into the main plot. And I appreciate where Chibnall was going for. Same as, really, to be fair, what my previous point with the epic location storytelling. At least Chibnall's trying to do something different in that style of writing. But again, the problem is I've really struggled with the companions, and that's nothing against the actors at all involved, but I just felt that their story arcs and their character development wasn't the strongest that we've seen in modern Doctor Who. And I think Ryan was the one that kind of dealt the heaviest of the blows out of the 3. He did have his times to shine. I think the next special, Revolution of the Daleks, and obviously in Rosa as well, I thought he had some good moments. And again, this should have been a really strong Ryan sort of story arc for him, but I just felt that his character wasn't strong enough for that. I think that it's just been dealt with a bit of a raw deal, really. I think more emphasis should have been on the sort of character developments to sort of intertwine with, obviously, the Doctor. I think it was just a bit too much for Chibnall to sort of carry on. It was basically spinning plates, and I think Chibnall, on reflection, struggled to sort of balance out all the characters and overstuff a plot as well. And I felt that Ryan, and again, this subplot for this episode, kind of its weakest for this New Year's special. There is positives to be had in this episode. Chibnall is good at writing classic villains, and that was something that was sorely lacking in Series 11 of Doctor Who classic villains. So at least he managed to bring them back, and obviously bring it back with the Dalek. And in this case, the scrap metal challenge Dalek. I really like the scrap metal design look of that Dalek. I thought it looked really good. I know there was rumours of obviously Chibnall reining in the changes and a new complete Dalek design. And yeah, I thought integrating that into the plot, that obviously it was a Dalek on the loose, and it was an alien Dalek, and obviously it needed to sort of get itself back in its casing to get itself armoured up with weapons. And like I said, I like the look of the scrap metal design, and the battle that this Dalek had with the military, arming itself with the weapons and the missiles, especially when it was taken on the tank. That was a pretty standout scene. And I'm glad Chibnall kept Nicholas Briggs on board as the voice of the Daleks, because yeah, he is the king. You know, obviously there's the legend that is Roy Skelton, Peter Hawkins, so on and so forth. But yeah, Nicholas Briggs does an excellent job as the voice of Daleks. I don't know how much of his voice was being used when the Dalek was possessing the character of Lynn, the archaeologist. And she was, again, a standout. I'll talk about her in just a moment. But yeah, I love the voice of Nicholas Briggs. And he always tries to bring something different sometimes, especially when it is a different type of Dalek. So this one, in case in point, is a reconnaissance Dalek. And I was, just to sort of go a little bit off topic, I've been listening to the audio drama on BBC Sounds from Big Finish of the War Doctor. So if you haven't seen or listened to that, check that out. Review of that coming soon. And yeah, he always tries to sort of bring something different to a Dalek. So in this case, in the audio drama, it does sound like the more classic Daleks from the 70s and 80s. But here he sort of brings a new version of the Dalek. And again, what you sort of hear in the next special, Revolution of the Daleks. The other standout in this episode is the character of Lynn, the archaeologist, who gets possessed by the alien part of the Daleks. And again, props to Chibnall, sort of finding a new way to write for the Dalek as well. And this is something that he did do well in his era, is write. He was a very good writer for classic Doctor Who villains, such as the Cybermen and the Sontarans. But for the Dalek, given that sort of, it wraps its tentacles around a human and sort of possesses it on its back. And yeah, the mannerisms for Lynn is quite scary at times, especially when he takes on that police officer, when she gets pulled over for speeding. And you can tell that she's trying to fight the Dalek will, being forced to make and build a Dalek and drive it to the weapons armory. And yeah, she was a standout character. I feel that the good points for this episode just about outweighs the bad, so I'm going to give Resolution a TARDIS rating of 6.5 out of 10. Yes, it is an overstuffed plot, which really does drag the pacing for this episode, but the final 20 minutes is where the story really gets going. Like I said earlier, the scene between the Dalek and the army is a fantastic scene to have. It's probably the highlight of this episode. The Dalek look badass, taking on the army, wiping them out. Something I haven't really seen since Dalek, to be honest. So I'm glad that Chibnall managed to make the Daleks feel more badass again and more fearful, demonstrating that they are a very dominant threat. Wasn't too bothered about the Ryan and Aaron story arc on that one. If anything, I probably, at the end of the episode, I probably would have killed off Aaron just to make sort of extra drama. But we need to have an happy ending. It's just a nice, easy episode to follow, to be fair. I know we get into more sort of the heavier, full-on Chibnall story arcs in season 12 of Doctor Who, series 12 of Doctor Who. I do apologise. And again, Jodie Whittaker, Mandy McGill and Bradley Walsh do a good job with the material that was given. It's just an easy episode to watch. Before I rewatched this episode for this review, I would have said that Resolution was the better story out of the trilogy of New Year's Day Dalek specials. But having rewatched it, I'm not quite so sure. I feel that Resolution and Revolution of the Daleks is very similar in terms of its storytelling, and it all, you know, they all have good and bad points. I'm thinking in terms of presentation and storytelling, I'm thinking Eve of the Daleks is the better out of the lot. Now, I'm not saying these are all stellar episodes. They do have their faults, but they also do have their good moments, some really good moments, as I mentioned before in my other reviews. So you're going to have to help me out on this one. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts to Resolution. Do you prefer this episode compared to the other Dalek episodes, Revolution of the Daleks and Eve of the Daleks? Which is your best to worst in this Dalek trilogy? Next time on Timey Wimey Review, to celebrate this channel's 2nd year birthday, I will be reviewing the Black Guardian trilogy from the Peter Davison era, starting with Mordrin Undead. Until then, thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed this review, and thank you so much for supporting this channel, as I am now on 300 subscribers. I'm absolutely thrilled and over the moon to hit this target. Last year, my target was to get 150 subscribers. So to surpass that and get 200 subscribers within a year, I'm just so thrilled and so happy. I love doing these reviews, and it's thanks to everyone, my fellow Whovians, for supporting this channel, watching the videos, liking, subscribing and commenting, sorry, on this video. That's how giddy I am. So please like, share, subscribe, hit the cloister bell for more notifications, come say hello and follow me on Twitter at ReviewTimey. And to celebrate this 2nd year birthday, I'm now on TikTok, so come find me on TikTok, Timey Wimey Reviews. But please continue to watch my other videos from the Timey Wimey Review YouTube channel. And as the good doctor once said, Earth is protected by me, my mates, this year and every other.